already controversial presidential appointee's nomination is now in the deepest of trouble. His name is Paul Ingrassia, the president's pick to head the Office of Special Counsel, the Justice Department's top internal watchdog. And a short time ago, the Senate's top Republican, Majority Leader John Thune, said he hopes the White House withdraws him from consideration. He's not going to pass, Senator Thune says. This comes after Politico today published racist and otherwise offensive text messages attributed to Ingrassia, who is scheduled to have a confirmation hearing on Thursday. According to Politico, he made the remarks in question in a text chain with a half dozen Republican operatives and influencers. One from January of last year, quote, MLK Jr. was the 1960s George Floyd, and his holiday should be ended and tossed into the seventh circle of hell where it belongs. Jesus Christ, one participant responded. In another message from a month earlier, Ingrassia uses an Italian-American equivalent of the N-word, saying, quote, no blank holidays from Kwanzaa to MLK Jr. Day to Black History Month to Juneteenth, adding every single one needs to be eviscerated. In another text, someone writes, Paul belongs in the Hitler Youth with the Ubergruppenführer Steve Bannon, to which Ingrassia responded, again, according to Politico, I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. I will admit it. Now, reached for comment by Politico, Ingrassia's attorney said, in this age of AI, authentication of allegedly leaked messages, which could be outright falsehoods, doctored or manipulated, or lacking critical context, is extremely difficult. He continues, what is certain, though, is that there are individuals who cloak themselves in anonymity while executing their underhanded personal agendas to harm Mr. Ingrassia at all costs. We do not concede the authenticity of any of these purported messages. With us now from the left and right, respectively, CNN political commentators Bakari Sellers and Brad Todd. Bakari, your reaction to these messages that Politico reported on today?
And not much of a reaction. I mean, I think that there is an issue of racism and race being utilized as political currency in the Republican Party. And until people call it out, check it, I'm not sure anything will change. And so I think where we are as a country is that I'm not surprised. I mean, we just saw the same thing last week with the young Republicans, and people were trying to couch that as youthful endeavors. But what we're seeing right now is that it's more than that. It's people who literally are playing a role in our political policy. And if that's how you feel about me, or even more importantly, that's how you feel about J.D. Vance's wife, then you don't have any place in government. I remember when racists were like in the darkness, they were in the corners. Now racism is popular.
You quoted another one of the text messages inside this piece, which refers to Indians and people from China. Again, we only scratched the surface of what's in this political story. People should go look at it so they can get the full spectrum of what's in there. Brad, the best guy to be the special counsel of the Justice Department, Paul Ingrassia?
No, and he's not going to be confirmed. In fact, I don't even expect him to make it to the hearing on Thursday. Rick Scott and Ron Johnson, two members of that committee who are highly respected, have already said that they're against his nomination. And I think before you get to Thursday, everybody on the committee will be against his nomination. I mean, this guy's a punk and doesn't belong in government. Unless he can convince Verizon to demonstrate that those are fabricated, then he's not going to get anywhere close to the Justice Department.
How do you think he got this far and ingratiated himself this much into the Trump orbit then, Brad?
I don't know. I can't tell you how, but I can tell you he's 30 years old, and there's a lot of his life left to live. And I think that gives him plenty of time to sort of square up his viewpoint. But, you know, the White House is not going to put up with this. I mean, somebody who's 30 years old, there's nobody who's 30 years old and indispensable in any job unless you're a six-time Pro Bowl quarterback. So I think that this nomination will be yanked.
Bakari, how surprised are you? Or you said you're not surprised by this. How surprised will you be if the White House does pull it?
No, I mean, I don't get surprised or excited when people do the bare minimum. I mean, this guy is racist. And I think that he, you know, the people, including Dr. King and many others, I'm not sure who the quote is attributed to, but they say your character is who you are when no one is watching. And he thought